All right, hey everybody, we're back. This is Rachel Matthews, and we're in my kitchen. And today I'm doing a series of videos on making a bowl, a Nourish Bowl. And so the previous video I talked about roasted veggies and how to do the grain, which I'm using quinoa tonight. This video is all about roasting the tofu. That's the protein source that I've chosen. However, the sauce I'm going to make for this bowl is also going to have protein in it. And stay tuned, that'll be in another video. But tonight what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna roast some basic tofu cubes. So I've got my organic firm tofu and I've just been kind of draining it a little bit. I'm not pressing it. I don't need to press it for this recipe. You can if you like your tofu a little bit crispier and less moist, I guess, but I don't find that I need to do it. I do have a tofu press, I just don't think that I need to use it for this recipe. So, block of tofu, yum, yum, yum. I'm doing two. Like I said, I always cook in big batches. So if I'm gonna make one, I'm gonna make 2 or 3. I wanna have leftovers for the rest of the week. I wanna be able to freeze things if I need to. When you're looking for tofu and you're gonna bake it, firm or extra firm is gonna be best. And you always wanna look for organic with tofu because with soy, it's a commodity that's made in some unsustainable ways, primarily for feeding cattle and for feeding livestock. So when we are eating soy and tofu, we want to try to find the organic, and we want to have non-GMO brands. So I've got, on the label, organic, non-GMO, and I know that it's going to be a higher quality product, and not the pesticides and kind of this commodity crop. All right, so I've got 2 blocks of my tofu. I like to do kind of large squares, maybe not quite an inch by inch, but close to that. And so I will typically go down the center long ways, and then I'm going to measure. Okay, I want my cube to be about that wide. And I think I can probably get 4 across. And now long ways, probably 3 across. Okay. You're welcome to do smaller cubes. You could do triangles. You can have fun with the shapes and the sizes of it. And then once I've got those cut up, I'm going to toss it in my bowl because I am going to toss this with a little bit of spice. I will say that when you press the moisture out of the tofu and drain it off, it becomes firmer, and it's less likely to crumble or break up when you're trying to spice it or when you're working with it. So if that starts to become a problem, you find that it's crumbling, then maybe next time press in a tofu press, and I'll show you. I'll try to do a link also, but this is the one I use. It's called Tofu Future. Okay. But anyway, it's just a basic, put the tofu in there, put it down, and it's got this little clamp that presses it down. And then after maybe 10 minutes, you just kind of pour it off. You just kind of drain it off. So, okay, let's go ahead and cut this one up. Oh, I need to go long ways. I did drain it a little bit, but now that I'm working with it, I do notice that it's not quite, it's a little bit crumbly. So maybe I should have pressed it. That's all right. I'm not going to worry about it. It's all going to taste the same. Now, as I said in the previous video, the spices and the sauce that I'm going to use are going to be really flavorful. So I'm not going to go overboard with the tofu. If something I was making, I was depending on my protein here to be really highly flavorful, then I would be adding a lot of different flavors. But I think I'm just gonna do salt and pepper and a little bit of broth and maybe just a tiny bit of my tofu mix that I keep in the fridge. That's I've posted a video on this before. I guess I need to come up with a name for it. But it's got like onion powder and garlic salt and nutritional yeast. That's what gives it this color. Turmeric, salt, pepper, did I say onion powder? Things like that. There's not a real science to it. I just kind of toss in a tablespoon of each and kind of go with it. But I'll see if I have a recipe that I can post for you as well. So I'm just gonna do I'm gonna do a little bit of broth. Not very much, because like I said, the tofu is still kind of, it's not totally pressed and totally dry. And this is going to give it a little bit of a, like a shake and bake. Do you remember in the olden days, chicken shake and bake? Almost like it's been breaded or battered. I kind of, the nutritional yeast adds a little bit of a texture to it that's really nice. A bit of salt. Pepper. A little bit more salt. There we go. And I just kind of toss it around. You want to be careful that you don't use your spoon in here too much. You could use a spatula, maybe like a, because as you're trying to scoop underneath it, you might break up the tofu. So maybe what I would use is something, oh, I don't have my good one. Something like this, right? Where I can kind of like just gently get underneath there and scoop it up. I do a little bit more of this. And that's all I need to do. So as you can see from previous videos, you've probably seen that they're more coated. Like every side of the cube is totally coated. In this one, I'm not going to do as much. That's my roasted veggies from the last video. I'm going to put these on another tray. And like I just use a cookie sheet with a silicone mat. I'm going to check those veggies, but then I'm also going to toss my tofu in right next to them or below them. So with these, I want space around them so they can cook up they can dehydrate a little bit, kind of cook off some of that moisture, and so that all of the sides can get kind of crispy. Okay, just kind of arrange it there. And let's take a look. Okay, so lots of juice coming off of these, so that's going to cook off. But look at all the bright, beautiful colors. Isn't that just gorgeous? So pretty. And you know what? I don't think, no, I did spice these. I'm going to add a little bit more pepper now that I can really see, because they're not frozen anymore. Okay. I'm going to toss that on top. Put this in on the second shelf, and I'm going to let it go for another 10 minutes. Tofu will take about 20 minutes total, maybe 15 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes. So you want to put it on 5 to 10 minutes. Take a look if you can, turn each one over so it can get evenly roasted on all the sides. The veggies might take a little bit longer. It depends on if you kind of want them caramelized and a little bit frizzled and a little bit crunchy, or if you want them just kind of gently cooked. So that's really up to you. Like I said, I have my oven on at 400 on roast, and I have a convection oven. So play around with it, see what works for you. My biggest suggestion is put it in for 5 minutes and then check it and see if you need to toss it or take a look. One more thing before I stop this video and we go on to the next one. I want to just kind of, from the tofu package, one serving is 3 ounces. I need my glasses though. Here we go. I can see this one better. All right. There are about 4.5 servings per container. This container is probably between $2.50 and $4 per package, depending on what store you're at. I usually get mine at Fred Meyer or Trader Joe's. So there's 4.5 servings in here. Each serving is 3 ounces. That's the size of a portion of meat or fish that's recommended. That's an appropriate portion size. Okay, so 3 ounces. Same with tofu. In one 3-ounce serving, I'm going to get 80 calories. I'm going to get 8 grams of protein. There's not a lot of fiber in tofu. That's okay. I have a lot of fiber coming in all the vegetables and the greens. Only 2 grams of carbohydrate. and 4 grams of fat. There's some potassium, there's 6% of iron, 10% calcium. So you do the math, you let that sink into your head, compare it to other protein sources that you're eating, and you decide, what do you think? How's that sound for you? So here's what we have. We have veggies roasting right now. We have tofu roasting, and we've got quinoa ready to go in the Instant Pot. There it is. But I haven't started it yet because it's not going to take very long to cook. Next up is the sauce. Okay, see you then.